Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, regardless of what time it is, or where you are. It's always a great time to have conversations about the gospel, especially the gospel in the light of Spiritism. Today, we're going to review chapter 23 of the book Our Daily Bread, and the title is It Does Not Belong to All. It's based on Paul, 2 Thessalonians, chapter 3, verse 2. Before we begin, I'd like to thank Kardec Radio for the opportunity to bring to all of us conversations just like this one. Kardec Radio is available in several platforms, including the X platform, which was formerly known as Twitter. Kardec Radio also provides their own app where you can have access to podcast like programming that deals with topics such as this one. Before we begin, I'd like for us to close our eyes in prayer and thank the Lord for all the opportunity for enlightenment that we've been given throughout our lives. That enlightenment comes through passages from the gospel. It comes from conversations with our friends, comes from inspiration from our spiritual benefactors, and also from our own experiences. Everything is a learning experience when we have our hearts and minds open to acquire the lesson. May God's peace be with us. So be it. So here, what we have is, again, chapter 23 of the book, Our Daily Bread. It is titled, It Does Not Belong to All. And in Thessalonians 2, chapter 3, verse 2, Paul indicates that, and pray that we may be delivered from wicked and evil man, for not everyone has faith. So here, Paul is reminding us that even in this case here, even in the congregation of Thessalonica, there could be individuals within the early Christianity movement who were actually not, who might know about Christianity or might not be fully embraced the message, or who have not allowed themselves to internalize the message, or also their concerns about some detractors who would hurt the nascent Christian movement. Emmanuel explains to us here that again, that directing his words to the Thessalonians, the apostle of the Gentiles, begged them for their participation in evangelical tasks, so that the service of the Lord could be exempt from wicked and evil men, justifying the call with the declaration that faith does not belong to all. So first of all, Paul, here Emmanuel explains to all that Paul is calling for action. It's indicating that it's not just enough for us to say that we're Christians, not for us enough for us to say that we're Spiritists, or regardless of the belief system that we are with, we should put those into action. And it is by the demonstration in our own action with our own hands, based on what we do, is that will indicate that have we truly embraced whatever principles, either Christianity or Spiritism is bringing to us. And again, faith does not belong to all. Anybody can have a label as a Christian. Anyone can have a label as Spiritist, or any other label he or she wants to indicate. The actions are what are going to truly indicate the nature, the good, either good or, Paul used the term here, wicked. But I would say those who are still ignorant, who are still not truly embraced the good teachings, the loving teachings, the teachings that allow us to grow. So it is our actions that are going to demonstrate that. We see labels, and as human beings, we have a tendency of labeling anything. May not just be related to a religious system. It's sometimes, a lot of times, also with our political views, social views, um, even in our relationships as well. So many times we label others based on our way of seeing the world. However, going above and beyond labels, that's where we see the true nature of others, and especially we recognize the true nature within ourselves. That's why that's why Paul indicates the need for us to pray, because when we pray, we have this clear mind, we have this clear heart that allows us not only to analyze the circumstances and the individuals that surround us, but especially what is it truly that resides in our hearts. Continue here, Emmanuel explains that through Paul's words, one can perceive his certainty that evil men would be nearing the nucleuses of Christian work, and that their malice could cause them harm, making it necessary to mobilize the resources of the Spirit against such influences. So, unfortunately, whenever we're trying to do something that is good, that is positive, there are always going to be detractors. There are always those gratuitous enemies. And a lot of times those individuals don't even realize what they're doing. They don't even realize their stances, because it does require some kind of inner analysis to determine am I truly embracing a particular faith. And I'd like to add here as well that a lot of times those influences, those negative influences, they might come from both incarnated individuals, but also from disincarnated individuals. We are who we are, regardless of our status. So, individuals who are pushing for the good, who are working hard for the betterment of the world, they are both incarnate and disincarnate. And conversely, we're going to see individuals that, for whatever reason, they might oppose to the forces of good. And again, for whatever reason, individual can do that. It is not up to us to judge. However, it is up to us to recognize those negative influences. And Paul indicates here that the best remedy for that is prayer, right? We got to pray for those who wish us harm. We got to pray for those who oppose our good intentions, and especially for those who oppose our good actions. Emmanuel continues here, indicating that the great converted one, in a few words, engraved an infinitely valuable warning. Because truthfully, even though the religious scholar will characterize the exterior dress of entire communities, but faith will belong only to those who strive without measuring the sacrifices needed to install it in the sanctuary of their own intimate world. Again, Emmanuel reminds us and clarifies to us here that labels are just that, labels. And it is our actions who are going to speak to us. A lot of people indicate that the need for us to spread, to disseminate the word of Spiritism, to showcase Spiritism to others. However, here, based on what we see here, the best way for us to showcase that, to be true Spiritists, is through our actions, is through what we do, is through our inner transformation. That is the best advertisement, on quotes, that we can provide for Spiritism. Emmanuel continues here, indicating that the mark of Christianity will be exhibited by any person. Nevertheless, the Christian faith shall be revealed pure, unconditional, and sublime in rare hearts. And again, everybody can say that he or she is a Christian. Anybody can profess that he or she studies Spiritism. However, what is it that is truly in one's heart? And of course, we can look out and try to indicate those warnings, those red flags, again, on quotes, for individuals who are outside. But what about us? So we should always reflect on, are we being true Christians? Are we being true Spiritists? Are we being good? Kardec used to qualified ones as the good man, which of course would be better described as a good person, right? Are we being good people? Are we being true Spiritists? And again, we got to look into our hearts and verify truly. And it's very important also that we have our eyes always looking around for any signs around us. However, other people are looking at us as well. And we should never be discouraged when we find ourselves being criticized by others, when we find by ourselves being misjudged, misunderstood by others. Again, people can label us in any way they want. The most important thing is the pure is the words that Emmanuel indicated here is how pure is our heart. And again, it takes a lot of effort to continue persisting and in the good path. But most importantly, it takes us a lot of inner searching to understand our true intentions, to understand what our strengths are, which uh, to promote, and also what are our weaknesses that we need to address and fix. Emmanuel continues here indicating that many people desire its acquisition if it were a simple promissory note, while numerous apprentices of the gospel utilize it precipitously as if it were an errant butterfly. Again, there are no easy fixes to being a true Christian. It is not a promissory note, meaning it's not something that I say, hey, I'm a Christian, but I'm going to start doing what's good later. It's not something that I'm grabbing like a butterfly using this very beautiful metaphor here by Emmanuel. No, it is again something that I'm going to be acquiring in time. It's not something that I'm going to get again. Emmanuel uses the term promissory note as something that I'm going to have now and use later. No, being a Christian is something that I'm going to have to embrace it now and start utilizing now, start putting those principles into action in our decisions, in our lives, in our good moments, and also in our moments of difficulties. Emmanuel continues here indicating that, but they forget that if the necessities of the physical body demand daily personal effort, the essential necessities of the spirit shall never be resolved by idle expectation. How many times are we concerned about our physical health? We should be concerned about our physical health. Our body is an amazing tool that was provided to us by God for our betterment here on planet Earth. So just like it is important to take good care of our tools so our tools can be used for a long time and be productive, we should be taking care of our bodies, make sure that they stay productive as well. However, that should not preclude us from forgetting about our own personal spiritual efforts as well, the necessities of the spirit. So we should not disregard one in benefit of the other. The same care, or even more care. Of course, we need to take care of our bodies, physical bodies, since they are like tools. We should take care of them, but we should never forget also to address our own spiritual necessities as well, because they are very important. How many people do we know that are physically healthy, but were not emotionally healthy, who were not mentally healthy, were not even socially healthy as well? So, according to the World Health Organization, being healthy that doesn't mean just be free of illnesses. There are all these aspects as well. And spiritism indicates to us there's also the spiritual health that we need to take care of as well. Emmanuel finalizes indicating that to admit the truth, to seek for it, and to believe in it are the requirements for all. However, to maintain a vivid faith constitutes the divine realization of those who worked obstinately and suffered to achieve it. So it's kind of interesting that we say, again, we can study and we can believe in the Christian teachings and the Spiritist teachings as well in those principles. However, this faith in those principles, it's not something to acquire overnight. It's something that we need to work every day, obstinately, sorry, and suffer because it requires effort. And it's interesting that the term here that Emmanuel used was suffer, but doesn't mean that we're gonna suffer in terms that, hey, we have to suffer to acquire those, we have to be in pain for those. No, it means that we're going to have to put in effort in it. It is something that we have, again, we should not be sitting idle. We should actually be working within ourselves to internalize those principles. I hope you liked today's conversation. And again, just thanking, taking another opportunity to thank Kardec Radio to have to open its platform for conversations just like this one. If you liked this particular presentation, make sure you click the like button. And if you have not done so, click the little bell button to subscribe to Kardec Radio so you might be notified of programs just like this one and any other great programs that Kardec Radio offers. At this moment, let's close our eyes again in prayer and be thankful of all the teachings that have reached us. Be thankful of all the light that Christianity and Spiritism provide to us, all the guidance that we've been receiving, not only in this reincarnation, but also in previous reincarnations, because all of those have been building us. All of those have been solidifying this faith in our hearts and help us. They have been helping us become better spirits, better individuals, better members of humanity. May God's peace be with all of us, and may we have a blessed remaining of day or evening or afternoon. May God be with us always. So be it.